Hi guys, Andy here. Now, love them or hate them, you can't deny that Samsung made steps forward with their build quality when they put the Note 4 out last year. The body, metal body, and general sort of sturdiness of the device was leaps and bounds ahead of what they'd done before. Now, personally, I didn't mind their plastic devices before. I quite like them, they're nice, light and thin. So, me being a big Note 3 user, I thought it would be almost a foregone conclusion that the Note 4 would be my main device. So I was rather surprised myself when I chose the Nexus 6 over the Note 4, mainly for the sort of fluidity of the OS, the quick updates, the amazing speakers. Anyway, we're not reviewing those phones. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect when the Galaxy S6 came out. Now, obviously I don't use this size of phone anymore, so that's kind of one mark against it perhaps already. And as I say, I preferred the Nexus 6 over the Note 4, so what would I make of Samsung's latest flagship? Well, I've been using it for 10 days to a couple of weeks, so I thought it's time I should tell you about it.
Okay, so let's start with the design. This model is 138 grams, so it's actually 7 grams lighter than the S5. I mean, I definitely know, obviously I use a Nexus 6, which is comparatively a huge big thing. It does feel very light sometimes when I'm using it. I don't know, it's almost like you're working on a piece of cardboard with a screen on it. So it is a very light device. It's only 6.8 millimeters thin, so it's much thinner than, well, pretty much anything else Samsung have done before. I do like the sort of the round edges. They look good, but it is a bit iPhone-like. It certainly feels like a premium device. It is a bit slippy, having the Gorilla Glass on both sides, Gorilla Glass for the front and the back. Twice I've kind of put it down on something which looks a fairly flat surface, and then I've heard a dunk, and it's actually slid off because it might have been on top of something like a glove or something perhaps, and it's just dunk. So it is quite slippy. But I wouldn't say I've even come close to dropping it, to be fair. So you still, you have a good grip of the device. You can see obviously the camera does stick out a fair old bit at the back. I can't say I've particularly noticed that, to be honest, when I've been using it. It doesn't mean that it rocks about much. I know some people get very nervous about, I'm going to damage the lens. I don't think that's something you need to worry too much about. I mean, I've always put it down on the back, and as you can see, that looks fine just there. So it has the one speaker at the bottom with the grill, a bit like the Nexus. And it has the earphone jack at the bottom, which even after like almost 2 weeks of use, I still can't get the hang of. I'll pull out, if I'm at the gym perhaps and the headphones are plugged in, I pull out, oh no, it's this way around. It does have the fingerprint sensor built into the home button, the singular home button, which actually I find to be very accurate. Initially I had a few concerns. I did my thumb about 3 different times. You get to add extra fingers. I did my thumb 3 times. And actually at the gym, I think so my last 2 times I've been to the gym, only twice perhaps, as it said, it didn't open it. So you press with your thumb and then you leave it there, and that's what it does. That's how it unlocks it. Now, right at the moment, I'm going to show you quick. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, really. Now, what do I want? Smart lock. So, for example, here we go. There we go, and we're straight in. So let's kind of turn off this location, just so you can kind of get a rough idea. So I turn it off now. We should have locked it. And I'm going to press the home button, leave my thumb there, and there we go. We'll do it again. I'll try giving a bit more of a weird angle, kind of a sort of a side. Yeah, so there it did. I don't know if you could see how I turned it's actually quite awkward for me to even put that much turn into my thumb. If I do it normally, we'll try one more. I'll give it a bit of a weird, we'll go kind of quite pointy on it this time. That's in. So I think that's actually pretty accurate, pretty good. We move on to the hardware. Now, I think, and I've got to be honest, I did a couple of searches and couldn't entirely tell, but I think it's an octa-core. So I think it's got 2 different quad cores, one being a 2.1 and one being a 1.5. I did run a benchmark and it said it was just a 1.5, but I think that must have been all it was sitting on at that point. Perhaps, I'm not entirely sure. Someone please in the comments who's more knowledgeable than me pointed out. I use GSM Arena a lot of time to get my specs. They just list both of the 2 quad cores, and I didn't know Samsung often do different devices for different regions. I thought they might be different like that, but I think actually both of them are in there. The chipset itself is the Exynos 7420, which is Samsung's own device. They've moved away from the Qualcomm that most others use, but it seems to perform very well. Oops. So that seems, that's pretty slick. Even the app switching. That gets a bit jerky when you go out into their weird briefing thing. Now, the camera, a big selling point of the S6, it's highly touted, and actually, yeah, it is very good. 16 megapixel primary, 5 megapixel front facing. The front facing, much as many others, I would say. It's not amazing. They have some interesting modes on the camera. We'll come to that in a little while, though, I suppose. The screen itself, 2560 by 1440 over the 5.1 inches. Super AMOLED. That gives it 577 pixels per inch. Now, I'm just not sure that you can tell that much. I should really put Smart Stay back on now, shouldn't I? I'm not really sure how much you can tell after sort of 300 or 400 pixels per inch. It is very clear, good brightness, even outside in bright light. And as I've mentioned, Gorilla Glass 4 protecting it. It also has on the back a heart rate sensor, which seemed pretty good. I've used it a couple of times. Obviously, you'll never really know exactly how accurate it is, but seemed to be, no reason I thought it would be inaccurate from the results that I got from it. The device is no longer IP67 certified like the S5 was, so it is, you don't want to go dropping this in your swimming pool. It's also worth pointing out it takes a nano SIM in the, have I got my ejector tool? Takes a nano SIM in there, look, of course. One thing I liked, we'll move on to the camera now, is the quick launch. So if I double press the home, we go straight into camera. That was actually relatively slow. Let's try Jon Snow over here. Look. Jon Snow's here after his performance in Game of Thrones this weekend. Top stuff, John. But yeah, wherever you are, let's just go in. Double tap. Brings it open. And generally I found the shutter release fairly responsive. Let's just try once more. So that was almost instantaneous. Let's go back into the camera, sorry. There are some other handy features. I'm going to switch it to... No, I'm not. I'm going to switch it to selfie mode quickly. See me and my camera. Then using the heart rate monitor... In theory... Oh, have I turned it off or something? That's interesting. The heart rate monitor had been operating as a shutter release. How have I... I'm really not sure how I've turned that off. Okay, we'll move on. I have used it. I don't know quite why it's doing that now. So we go back to regular camera. There are a variety of different modes. Now, Pro, I'll show you first of all. I'm actually a little disappointed by Pro. I thought I'd be able to choose my f-stop, my shutter speed. What? Oh, it's voice operated as well. Smile! Yeah, so we've got to be careful what we say. Oh, my word, calm down. But it's, yeah, I mean, you get a variety of options, but not the ones I was hoping to see, to be honest. Selective focus is an interesting one. It's the one where it takes... Oh, I can't really explain it from here. We'll move on. But it takes... you can change the focus after the fact, like some of these clever ones do. Panorama, obviously, fairly obvious. Slow motion and fast motion, I would hope it's fairly obvious. Now, virtual shot was an interesting one. So basically, you move around. Let's try it with... So... It's almost like a video, but you can spin around the item. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if we can scroll back to... Is that the one? Yes, I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's a reasonably interesting and useful, maybe useful mode. And of course, as has been possible in previous ones, you can download other rear cam selfie. You can download other modes as well. I'm kind of annoyed. Why did this shutter? Where's I can't even find what's underneath. No, it's still not working. I don't know what I've changed to. Because it was and it should. Oh, that's interesting. Even white smile. Maybe it was that. There we go. It was. Look. So I mean, the voice operator is quite handy as well, but I don't quite know why the heart rate monitor should operate as a shutter release for selfies. Anyway, the video generally looks pretty good. Nice strong colours, although in darker situations it does look a little bit washed out. As I'll put some sample video here. I didn't really get to test it too well in comparison to other devices for the dark. You know, a lot of the hype that we saw when the phone was released was it showed a comparison against the iPhone in low light conditions, and it did look quite amazing. And I took a couple in low light, and it looked good, but you never really appreciate it until you see it compared to another phone. And unfortunately, I didn't really have anything available to send my Nexus 6 back to be repaired. I've still not got it back. We can see here at the minute it's running 5.0.2, which obviously is already out of date because we're now up to my Nexus 5 is on 5.1.1. I do like things like you get a weather when you wake up in the morning, you turn your phone on for the first time, you get a weather report for the area you're in. That's quite nice. That's quite handy. I didn't find the keyboard very accurate. Let's see if we can just sort of testing the key. You watch, it'll work perfectly now, of course. I found it to be a little bit of a pain. I found it to news passion. Yeah, so pain is there. So I just didn't feel it was as accurate or as reliable as the stock Google one, basically. This is a theme. I applied a theme to it. You get a few themes in. Let's search the themes out. Themes. So you get a few sort of automatically, or there's a bunch in the store that you can download and add. Didn't particularly like the look of a lot of them. In fact, how do I? Let's go back to default just so you can kind of see it in action in its default mode. One of the biggest annoyances for me is the launcher. Now, I can edit here and I can change, I can move something around. Oh, well, I can make a folder by mistake. So folding looks good, but I can't list it alphabetically. Surely that's the most... I've seen other screenshots where there's an A to Z button next to the edit. That's not there. I can only have it in order of I've installed things. Or I manually move things around. I find that astonishing. Why? I don't get it. Anyway, so I changed launchers to Google's own launcher, which does it alphabetically. And also you can't go in... I don't know if we'll... Yeah, I have got some notifications. So again, so from in my Nexus 5 or my Nexus 6, if I tap that twice, now obviously this is locked at this point, so perhaps that's a bit unfair actually. But even when I'm using smart lock, so I'm at home or I'm connected to my watch, if I double tap on a notification, it won't open. I have to then swipe to unlock, and then it loads a notification. If it's connected, if it's a smart area that shouldn't be secured because it's safe, that I found that a little bit annoying, to be honest. If we move on then to the battery, it's a 2,550 milliamp hour battery sealed inside. It's non-removable, which again is a step away from what Samsung normally do. I didn't really point out specifically, but it doesn't obviously take an SD card, which again is away from something Samsung usually do. And it's actually a smaller battery than the S5, 250 milliamps less. But you could argue it makes up for it by having fast charge, quick charge. So I went from, for example, 41% to 69% in just 21 minutes of charge. That's 28% in 21 minutes. by the end of the day yesterday, for example, I was using it all day at work. I mean, I'm not a heavy user. I was down to 24% by the time I put it on charge at the end of the night, which I thought, actually, that's fine. I was a bit surprised this morning. I went to the gym, used this phone, and I came back from the gym and I was in the 70s, and that was only a couple of hours after it coming off charge. But it was in constant use, probably actually maybe it was 3 hours, but it was in pretty constant use, either playing podcasts in the morning while I was having breakfast, or playing music while I was in the gym, or playing videos while I was in the gym, or reading web pages, or even when I was working out, I'm sort of recording how many sets and reps and stuff, so it's pretty heavy usage. I have today done my unscientific battery test. I played 2 37-minute videos, one with the brightness full up, and then next time with the brightness all the way down, and actually it scored 90%, it had 90% left, which is tied for the best result I've had, which kind of surprised me a bit, because I didn't think the battery was that good. It does have good standby, but I've thought while I've actually put it to use, the screen's been on, it's gone through battery quite quick. So the result kind of surprised me. But fair play, well done to it.
So, I'm not going to lie to you, after only a day of using this device, I was looking up how much they cost on eBay and Gumtree. And for the record, you can get them under £400 on Gumtree at the moment. Well, there's people advertising them under 400, so I would assume you can buy them at that sort of price. It is a very nice device. I thought I might struggle going back to the smaller, I mean obviously it's not small, but the smaller size. But no, I didn't know, it was fine. It did feel very small when I was using it, still feels small, and I will look forward to getting back to my Nexus 6 when it comes back. But at the same time, the screen is amazing, the camera, very good results, very fast shutter. All around, this is a very good device. The fingerprint sensor works very well, there's none of this swiping through, it's very reliable. There's a lot of positive things to say about it. Even the speaker, I didn't mention earlier, actually set a record for my podcast measurement, the highest decibels I've recorded, and since I've been doing that extra bit, it was called the highest average across all things. It doesn't sound as good as the Nexus 6, there's not that sort of bass, or there's not that roundness to it, it's a bit tinny, but good loudspeaker. So it kind of ticks all the boxes, if I'm honest. It is a very good device. It makes me think Samsung have got this kind of even numbers thing going on. I love the S2. I think to me that was a breakthrough device. I think the S3 was okay. I think the S4 was a good one. The S5 I was not so bothered by, and then the S6 again, actually very good device, very well made, very well designed. All round, highly recommended. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.